I just recently finished the game, and as a first-time player, my biggest gripe with the game was that oftentimes I had to return to the same places multiple times because I had forgotten to do something, or there was something I had to do that I didn't know about. So I'm making this video without any spoilers to save you the frustration. Let's begin. So the game can be divided into 4 chapters. First, you follow radio markers and scan everything you find, then explore locations based on the notes in your journal, then you find the entrance to the Lost River and explore that, and then you attempt to leave the planet. This last part I'm not going to be diving into, but for everything else feel free to skip ahead if you've already progressed somewhat. So starting with the radio, there are a few resources that you will need in this part of the game. This game focuses a lot on resource gathering, so it's never too early to make storage. You can use the storage in your life pod at the very beginning, but it's going to fill up quick. You could build waterproof lockers, but they barely hold anything, and it's better to invest in buildings early on. It will save you a lot of time. Here's a quick guide on how to build a basic storage room that you will never lose. First, you fabricate a habitat tool, then you use that to build a scanning room, or even just a compartment if you don't want to wait for when you have the scanner room blueprint. Then you gather the resources and build it. After that, you put a solar panel on top so that your habitat has oxygen, a hatch to actually get in, and put in the lockers. You can omit the solar panel if you don't have a blueprint yet and you're building near the life pod. Your stuff will not float away if there's no power. If you do build a scanner room, you will have useful markers on the map that you can use to always find your base. And yet, it doesn't mean you can completely forgo using beacons. Beacons are amazing. Use them. You'll never have a map in this game anyway. Your Gladys, onboard computer will help you figure out the basics, such that you progress in this game by finding pieces of equipment to scan with the scanner tool, and you'll quickly have a radio up and running. The messages won't be coming in one after another, so you'll have plenty of time to explore, collect many different resources, and scan many broken parts of what was once your ship's contents. You can complete the game without listening to the radio at all, but it will be much harder for you. You're meant to explore the areas that the radio sends you to. But here are the resources that you should gather in the starting biome to set you up for frustration-free experience later on. Cave Sulfur. You only need about 3 of these for the whole game to make the basic tools, so don't spend too much time gathering it. Also in caves and around them, you will find limestone outcrops and sandstone outcrops, which will contain some ores that are vital for progression in the game. Don't pass them when you see them, unless your inventory is full. At any given time in the game, I recommend having 2 to 3 lockers filled with titanium, some 6 silver ore, and at least 4 to 10 of both copper ore and lead. To finish the game, I would guesstimate you need about 30 silver ore, 40 lead, and some 60 copper, but don't take my word for it since I didn't actually count how many I used. You'll find quartz all around the map, which you'll need plenty of to make glass. Don't go out of your way to collect it, but do collect at least 1 locker's worth. You'll need it. Also, don't rush to convert all quartz into glass, as you'll need quartz too. Speaking of glass, there's this thing called enameled glass, and to produce it you need stalker teeth. It's easiest to find in the early game before you've collected all the metal salvage, so whenever you see stalkers chomping on metal salvage, just look down at the seabed where they took it and you're likely to find their teeth. You'll have to collect about 6 by the end game. Salt is really only needed in the early to mid game, so don't bother collecting too much. Coral tubes are also very useful in the early game and are used to make water, so collect them until you acquire better means of water production. Table corals are also very important, so make sure to have about 1 locker's worth if you don't want to swim around searching for them when you have to. You will need acid mushrooms for battery fabrication, but there will also be plenty batteries that you'll find out in the world. They're not really used for anything else, so feel free to convert them into batteries instead of keeping them raw. But remember that there are battery rechargers in the game, so you don't have to throw out your batteries once they're out. The last resource available in the starting biomes is Creepwine Seed Cluster. To conserve space, convert them into rubber and lubricant. You'll need at least 10 of each. All of the above resources you'd gather around the vicinity of your safety pod. Once you leave the safe shallows, you will occasionally find black nodes like these. Mine them. Each and every one. If you don't have space in the inventory, drop titanium or any other more common resource. You won't regret it. They contain gold, lithium, and diamonds. There is no limit to how much you will need, but in the order of importance, I found lithium to be most important to go out of your way to collect. Then diamonds unless you have a lot of them already, and only then gold. After collecting the previously mentioned resources, you should have already explored some or most of the radio locations. Have also collected blueprints for quite a few things like sea moth, and quite possibly already visited the island. If you haven't yet, you should definitely interact with the radio. Eventually, you should get a communication that there's a ship coming your way to save you, pointing you to the landing site on an island. You should explore this island and collect all the iron cubes and tablets that you find. Try to go there nearly empty-handed, as you will need the space for all the cool stuff you'll gather. But do bring a beacon, because you will be returning to this island, and you don't want to lose it. Out of all the plants that can be harvested, I found bulba trees, lantern trees, and Chinese potatoes to be most useful. Additionally, there is a cave on the island where you can find some lithium and diamonds. Had I known about this location when I was at this point in the game, it would have saved me hours of searching. The line between this arbitrary chapter and the previous is blurry, since it depends on how much and how well you explore. But basically at this point you should have radiation suit and all the tools necessary to explore Aurora. You have to bring propulsion cannon, the only time I had to take it with me during the game, 2 extinguishers, sea glide, knife, laser cutter, repair tool, scanner, 1 spare battery just in case, some food, and don't bring any water as there's plenty on board. Once in Aurora, do not leave it until you fix the nuclear reactor. Collect blueprints in the captain's quarters, scan the Cyclops engine, and the whole prawn suit. There's prawn suit hanging in prawn bay and more fragments of it engulfed in flames, and you don't want to leave Aurora without scanning the whole prawn suit, because then you will have to return. So once you fix the reactor core, you can throw away the radiation suit. I mean it, you won't need it anymore. And go on exploring stuff based on the notes in your journal. I won't be spoiling the fun of that, so let's just talk about the resources you'll need to progress further. Magnetite. You'll find it in the jelly shroom cave not far from the starting life pod if you swim in the direction I'm showing here. You don't need too much, I would say that I only used about 8 to 10 throughout the whole game, and even that might be a stretch. This resource is only needed to upgrade your existing things and fabricate Stasis rifle, and you can definitely finish the game without those upgrades or the rifle. The Stasis rifle does make you feel a bit less powerless though. Ruby is essential to finish the game, so you'll want to collect at least 12 at this point in the game. Don't go out of your way to collect much more, as you'll still see Ruby in the end locations of the game, so we'll still have a chance to collect it. In my playthrough, I didn't bother with mining any deposits except for lithium, so in case you do see these big chunks of lithium, I recommend using prawn suit with drill arm to mine it. That's the only way to mine it. The lithium is so rare, it's totally worth it, and you will need the prawn suit with the drill arm anyway, so it's as good time as any to find the blueprint for the drill arm. It's also high time to collect some blood oil. To find it, you would start off from your life pod and go northwest. Or if you put a beacon on the island, you would move towards that beacon and then continue swimming past the island on the left side. You should find tall kelp at about 100-meter depth, and go down until you find blood sacks. And while you're there, look out for deep shrooms, as you'll need a few of them. They grow at the depth of about 200 meters and lower. Also get 1 ghost weed for later, and look out for purple gel sacks. You'll need as many as you can find. Ideally, if you have a base and farming plots unlocked, you would plant some seeds to increase your supply. Apart from the ghost weed I mentioned a bit earlier, you will also want to collect 1 of each of these. They're not necessary at this time, but will come in handy in the late game. Don't go out of your way searching for them. At this point, you might have found a deep black hole that doesn't seem to have a bottom. There are a few of these, and they all lead to the Lost River. The path to finishing this game lies through these holes. In case you haven't found it and have looked everywhere, you can check out the link to the map that I'll leave in the description. I know it can be frustrating, so don't feel ashamed to look it up. Before you dive into the Lost River, don't forget to put a beacon so you can find the entrance again. You should also have a prawn suit with drill arm and potentially a grappling arm. It is not optional. What is optional is bringing Cyclops with you. It's a great vehicle and it can store lots of resources, but there's a big downside to using it. It takes much longer to navigate the narrow passages, and once you reach the bottom of the hole, you will have to return for your Cyclops. If you just go in with the prawn suit, you can explore much quicker, but it's also a lot more dangerous, so it's up to you. Either way, you will need to upgrade your prawn suit for bigger depths as you go, and for that you will have to build a moon pool. Do it where it's hot so you can power it with a thermal plant. Take the following resources with you so you don't have to return to the surface. And if you don't want to use the Cyclops and are pressed for space, take at least these. From the resources you can find in the Lost River, you will need crystalline sulfur. It hides under the brine, and to walk on it safely you will need to use the prawn suit. You won't need more than about 10. Nickel ore hides under the water too, just like the crystalline sulfur, but it's near the crushing depth for the prawn suit at about 850 meters. It has to be drilled with the prawn suit's arm, so be careful. I've seen some people mentioning other places having nickel ore, but I haven't seen nickel ore anywhere else personally. You should collect at most 15, more is not needed. You don't have to mine kyanite with the bronze suit. There's plenty in the caves around the lava castle that you can just collect. You won't find them anywhere else lying around like this, so don't bother searching. You will need 15 at most. If you don't find 15, don't worry. As I said, if you collect most of the kyanite in the caves leading up to the lava castle, you're good. Speaking of lava castle, this is your next stop. Once you see an entrance like this, get in and continue until you find a building to explore. Once you do it and find the blue tablet, you will have to go back the way you came, and let me show you since I got lost a bit here. And you have to jump at the very end, and this is the part that I missed. Anyhow, once you get out, you will need to fabricate a second blue tablet in Fabricator. This is where the Cyclops or Moon Pool come in handy. Once you do that, just outside the cave entrance, find another deep hole where you can't see the bottom, and drop down into it, or swim into it, whichever you prefer. Continue onwards until you find a big structure, but don't forget to take 2 blue tablets, all the iron cubes you have, and possibly purple tablets as well. From now on, you're on your own. Have fun!